How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to episode 14 of the Sick Podcast with your host, At Least Fan. I hope you guys are doing well. We have a lot of things to talk about. The boys were overseas, and NYLANDER is looking like a god himself. But before we get into any of that, producer, roll the tape.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. With That Leafs Fan.
They score! They score! Holy mackerel, they score! Morgan Riley! Mo Riley! The Leafs have won it! They're going to the second round! Do you believe this? Holy mackerel!
The sickest Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. It's gonna be sick.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 14 of the Sick Podcast. The Toronto Maple Leafs were in Sweden this past weekend, and we got to enjoy the lavish lifestyle of waking up to watching a hockey game and also having one in the afternoon. Both games very eventful. The Leafs coming back versus the Red Wings. They were down 2-0. And first 40 minutes of that game, not a whole lot to talk about. Honestly, the Red Wings were just a better team. So the one thing I did want to talk about was the debate of was it a goal or not, referring to the not the Nylander, sorry, the Marner, where the net fell off kind of or got displaced. I'll give my quick take on that. It was the right call to not put it a goal. The reason I say that is, if it's not 100% conclusive, 100%, and you don't call it a goal on the ice, you can't call it a goal. The way I look at it is, if I was a Leafs fan in the situation of the Red Wings, in the sense that if that happened to Toronto, like Toronto was the defending team, and then they call that a goal, I would probably, I would lose my mind. So just wanted to start off with that one, clarify that. I think they made the right call, although it was annoying, although it could have been a goal as well, because technically the puck did go through the line. You gotta keep it safe. I understand where they were coming from. I, again, thought it was a goal, but I thought it was the right call. So just wanted to start off with that. Nylander. This guy is like a god in Sweden, first of all. The guy was on a talk show between both games, but he was a god on the ice as well, as he has been this entire season. William Nylander extends his point streak to 16 and 17 games. He has 27 points in 17 games so far here, ladies and gentlemen. And this guy is on a mission. He wants that contract. He wants all the dollars. And he's going to have to get all the dollars. The Toronto Maple Leafs, I know it's impossible because we have about $27 of cap space. Only thing we can afford is like 3 coffees at Tim Hortons. But the Leafs got to figure it out. We have to sign Nylander now. He's been lights out. He's been many times the reason the Leafs have come through in a game where they shouldn't have won, like the game against the Red Wings. I didn't think the Leafs were the better team by any means, but they do a very Leaf-like thing in that they didn't play, they didn't show up for the first 2, and then they had 20 minutes to go. They did what they could. They found their way back. They rallied, and they won it in regulation 3-2 over the Red Wings, which is a huge 2 points because that's a division rival that we're close with. Red Wings were on the back half there as well as the Wild. They were on second half of a back-to-back. I thought the Leafs were the second best team on the ice in both games, but the important part is, like I said, they did find a way to get the job done and get the win. And Nylander, that's like, I want to talk about a bunch of things, but like William Nylander, I have to spend time on this. We knew he was good. Maybe it's the contract year. I don't know what it is. This guy has been creating something out of absolutely nothing so many times. Like, his overtime goal was bonkers. Now I'm talking about the Wild one. I know you guys know. But just going end to end, like just taking the puck, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go and end the game right now, and he goes and do exactly that. No one could have stopped him, and it was fantastic to watch. It really was. He was definitely the player of this global series, like the number one, I think. Um, Riley had a good game. Uh, the first line, Matthews, Marner, Nyes, in both games, they were a bit underwhelming. Um, I don't know. I just expected a little more out of them, but luckily the second line was able to pick up the slack. I thought the third line of Robertson, Yarncroke, and I'm having a brain fart, but the third line, I don't know why I never forget players, but anyways, there it is. Domi, Yarncroke, Robertson. I liked the way that line played. It seems like they're getting progressively better throughout the games, in the sense that like they're starting to find their identity, which I really like. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, you have to put goal scorers, like finishers, with Domi because he is a playmaker, and I just see a lot happening with that line that I'm starting to really enjoy. Like it's starting to feel cemented as the third line of the Leafs, which is nice because for a large portion of the early part of the season, the whole confusion was that, okay, we know our top four is good, but what about the rest? Where's the depth on this team? Who is the rest of our lineup? And the third line is finally coming into its own. Now, someone I wanted to, I don't want to say apologize to, but I was kind of wrong about, at least starting to look wrong about, and I'm totally okay with it. I love being proven wrong, especially when it comes to this team. Tyler Bertuzzi, he probably had his best 2 games on the Leafs. Huge role in the first game against the Wings, winning battles. He was bringing a very Zach Hyman type of play, in the sense that like he's taking care of the corner battles. He is like finally putting in the effort that I wanted to see from the beginning, that like nastiness of like going in the corner, getting the puck, fighting with the players, getting in front of the goalie, cutting out the vision. These are things I've been longing to see from him, things I expected from him that just weren't there in the first 10 games of the season. And I went completely off on him. To be honest, he was kind of just a scapegoat because there's always a scapegoat every season for the Leafs, and there's always going to be someone we have to pick on, and it's just so happened to be Bertuzzi. But he's proven me wrong, and I'm very happy about it. I really liked the way he played. Now I want to see him keep this up, and that line, I don't know if it's a result of Nylander and Tavares just being insane together, and that anyone you put next to him and next to them, sorry, is just a fit. But I think Bertuzzi, like Domi, has finally begun finding his place in the lineup. It really works. Like you have Tavares, who's very strong on the puck, but doesn't exactly have the speed. You have Nylander, who is just the prime minister of Sweden and is insane at hockey. And now you have Bertuzzi, who's going to win the board battles, who has a bit of that speed-ish. Well, I don't know about speed, but like that grit, that factor, which we're finally seeing out of him. So I like the second line. I like the third line. First line, I'm not too worried about, to be honest. I mean, it's Matthews and Marner. Although I do expect more out of them, I'm not worried about it because, as you can see, Matthews only likes scoring in hat tricks apparently this season. Marner, I do want to start seeing a little bit out of, though. It's taken him a bit of time, but I don't think he's been playing that bad. I think he's just slightly under expectations because of what we were able to see last year from him. But I don't doubt, like, if Marner's the guy I have to worry about, I'm not worried because I know he'll figure it out. So that was just like a few things. The one thing that I think every single Leafs fan watching this game noticed very quickly, John Klingberg did not play in either of these games. Thank you, Lord, whoever made this decision. Wow. We just got better with him not there. Are we fantastic? Absolutely not. Are we mediocre? Kind of. Are we better without Klingberg? 100%. Oh my God. I was that alone. I was like, you know what? I'm glad this decision was finally made. because he has easily been the Leafs' worst signing in arguably, I don't want to say history. That's a bit of a long shot. It's like 15 games into the year, but he's been awful. And I'm very happy to not see him in the lineup anymore. There's guys who weren't even on the roster, who didn't even make the starting roster, who are literally looking better than him. And we have injuries, and he's still not playing. Like, if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know. So we'll see what happens with him. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the goaltending. Samsonov having he let in a goal that was it was okay. Like the goal of Raymond, not the penalty shot, the other one. Obviously, the penalty shot, nothing you can do. The second goal followed up. I didn't really like his positioning on that goal. Giving credit to Lucas Raymond, that was a snipe, but I think Samsonov should have had that one. But overall, Samsonov gave us a chance to win when we were down because, quite frankly, the Leafs team didn't really show up to help him much before that in the first two periods of that game. And I thought he put up a good performance. He did look kind of, I don't want to say injured, but like he looks like he's dealing with something, like he's fighting through it. And I'm honestly, I'm very happy for Samsonov because the entire like Leafs nation, and honestly, at some points, even including myself, I'm not gonna give myself the free pass there. We've been really hard on the guy, like really hard on the guy, and I'm just happy that he was able to put together a performance where he was battling. It wasn't perfect, but like you saw, he was like giving it everything he had, like whatever he was battling through, and he gave the Leafs a very good chance to win the game when we had no business being in it. So that's the goalie's job, is to give us a chance and make timely saves. And I think he did that. And I just wanted to definitely give him the props he deserved. I thought Joseph Woll as well in the second game against the Wild. We were getting peppered with shots throughout a large portion of that game. And were all the goals that went in on Woll great? Some yes, some no. But again, he gave us a chance to win in a game where we just were the second best team on the ice, Wild being the better one in this scenario. And the goalies just gave us a chance, and that's pretty much all you can ask for. I mean, we don't have Carey Price in nets. We don't have Sorokin. Like, we don't have those. We have a tandem where it's like the thing we need from our goaltenders is for them to give us a chance to win the game. We're not looking for our goalie to steal the game every single night because that's just not the goalies we have. But all we ask for, at least for me, is give us a chance to win the game, and the goalies did that. So for that, I was very pleased with. I'm still completely baffled at William Nylander. I don't even know what to say. The guy is riding a 17-game point streak, which is like, I want to say puts him at 8th all time for like longest streak to start the season. He tied McDavid. Not saying he's McDavid, but he's playing out. I don't know. He's playing out of his mind. Like, he's comfortable, he's confident, he's got the zest, he's got the factor, and he's just, every time he has the puck, like, something can happen. And that's very special to be seeing. We've seen this like throughout times with Matthews. We've seen it throughout times with Marner. And like this season, it just looks like Nylander is that guy where whenever we need a goal, whenever we need something to happen, I would love for the puck to be on Nylander's stick because he's just creating opportunities. It seems like he's like driving the force of the team, like when we kind of need something. The second line in this entire 2-game span was like lights out, Without the second line, we don't win either of these games, especially not the first one, because they literally put together all 3 of the goals. And I think Nylander, he deserves the praise because over Nylander's career in Toronto, the Leafs, and I don't really understand why, Leaf fans have been so hard on the guy, like super intense. Like, they're like, I hate him. I hate the way he plays. He shouldn't be there. He's like the whatever. I don't get it. Like, he's flourishing into his own, and he's taking matters into his own hands. He's gonna sign that big contract, and he knows it. And honestly, good on him because as of right now, he is still a Leaf. So do what you want, get us the dub, find a way, and keep playing the way you're playing, because I don't know if we're going to have him next year, but we have him right now. So I'm going to choose to keep my mindset like that instead of going to the negative Nancy style of, oh, how are we going to sign him? Enjoy the fact that he's here right now, because he is playing lights out, and I love to see every single moment of it. Now let's go to the overall group. The Toronto Maple Leafs are now riding a 4-game win streak. We have beaten the Flames, the Vancouver Canucks, the Detroit Red Wings, and the Minnesota Wild. Pretty much a bunch of teams. Like, we beat some good teams. We beat some of the lower ones and the ones in the middle. Do I like the play of the team overall? I like parts of their game. The one thing I think I don't know if I have to come, it sucks that I have to come to terms with it, but this whole starting on time and playing a full game, maybe the Leafs team that we have now, it's just not their mojo or something. I don't know. That's just been the one thing that's been worrying me, is that I don't feel like we have put together many 60-minute performances. It's been a lot of 20-minute games, a lot of 30-minute games, a lot of scattered, but like I haven't seen many 60-minute efforts from the team where it's like, okay, they really gave it their all from start to finish. I hope it's going to come. Luckily, we have a 10-5-2 record, which is really not bad considering the start we had. It's the Leafs, man. I don't know what to say. They always kind of find a way to not be as bad as we thought they were. After the start of this season, like, I was really deflated, and I was talking to my dad about this, and we just kind of looked at the standings. We're like, well, are we good? I don't know. Are we going to make the playoffs? Well, I think so. Is there a lot of things to fix on this team? Yeah. Oh, we're 10-5-2. That's not bad. Like, we literally had that moment. Like, I looked, I'm like, we're really 10-5-2. Like, it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like we're more, I don't know, like an 8-7-3 kind of, like, where it's like we're fighting through it. We're right in the middle, but it's like 10-5-2 is really not bad, all things considered. And now the Leafs have to set up for a first, I believe it's their first back-to-back of the season. They're playing the Hawks on Friday at 2 p.m. and the Penguins on Saturday at 7 p.m. I believe both are away games. I have to take a look. Don't quote me on that. But we're going to see if they can keep up the play. And if Nylander, man, sign him. I don't care how. I don't care if we have $13 of salary cap and can only afford a Timmy's double-double and like a honey glazed donut. Figure it out. All right? Get him signed. Sign William Nylander now. But guys, that is going to be it for today's episode 14 of the Sick Podcast with That Leafs Fan. Just to preface the end of this podcast, I just want to say thank you so much if you've gotten this far into the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, that you smash the like button, share it to a friend, leave a comment, whatever it is, your thoughts. I just want to say thank you guys so much for all the support. And I just hope, even if it's 1 or 2 or 3 people that this podcast, that you're looking forward to it. If you are one of those people, I love y'all. Thank you so much. And yeah, enough of my little emotional rant. Leafs next game is this Friday against the Chicago Blackhawks and toe drag release Bedsy. We'll see how that one goes. But till then, I'll see you in the next one. Producer, roll it out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with That Leafs Fan on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.